Have you ever wondered how our earliest ancestors interacted with their environment? Long before the rise of cities and industries, humans were intrinsically tied to the natural world. Our prehistoric forebears were hunters and gatherers, relying on the bounty of the earth for survival. They followed the migration patterns of animals, plucked ripe fruits from trees, and fished in the bountiful rivers. But as they hunted, gathered, and eventually discovered agriculture, they began to shape the environment around them. Forests were cleared for farmland, rivers were redirected for irrigation, and fire was used to manage landscapes. These early activities had profound effects on the environment, altering ecosystems and shaping landscapes. From the first footprints in the sand to the sprawling empires of antiquity, humans have always left their mark on the world. As we evolved, so too did our impact on the environment. With the advent of colonization, our environmental footprint expanded dramatically. As European powers spread their wings across the globe, the world saw an unprecedented transformation. Forests, once lush and teeming with life, were cut down in the name of progress. Land degradation became commonplace as fertile soils were overworked, stripped of their natural nutrients to feed the growing demand of colonial powers. But the impact didn't stop there. With colonization came the introduction of non-native species to new habitats. These alien species often outcompeted local wildlife, disrupting ecosystems and leading to the extinction of numerous indigenous species. And let's not forget the exploitation of natural resources. Precious metals, exotic spices, and rare woods were shipped back to Europe, leaving a gaping hole in the natural wealth of colonized lands. The reach of human influence was growing, as was our impact on the planet. The Industrial Revolution marked a significant turning point in human history, and not just socially and economically. It was a period of rapid industrialization, but also the start of unprecedented environmental degradation. Smoke-belching factories, the relentless extraction of natural resources, and the surge of urbanization all came to characterize this age. These activities led to a considerable increase in pollution, from the air we breathe to the water we drink. Forests were razed to make way for expanding cities, while mines and factories depleted non-renewable resources at an alarming rate. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. The harsh realities of the Industrial Revolution sparked something crucial: the dawn of environmental awareness. People began to notice the damage and started advocating for conservation, preservation, and sustainable development. They demanded cleaner air, safer water, and protection for our natural landscapes. This marked the birth of modern environmentalism, a movement that would grow in power and influence in the centuries to follow. In response to these changes, people began to advocate for the environment, marking the birth of modern environmentalism. Sometimes the impact of our actions on the environment can be devastatingly clear. Take, for instance, the Dust Bowl of the 1930s in the United States. This environmental disaster was not simply a result of a prolonged drought, but was significantly exacerbated by human activities, specifically unsustainable farming practices. Farmers at the time heavily plowed the topsoil of the Great Plains, removing the long-rooted grasses that held the soil in place. When the drought hit, the exposed, overworked soil was easily picked up by winds, creating massive dust storms. These storms ravaged the land further, making it nearly impossible for crops to grow and leading to widespread famine and economic hardship. The Dust Bowl was a clear demonstration of how soil erosion, precipitated by unsustainable farming, can lead to an ecological disaster of enormous proportion. Today, it stands as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of reckless land management. In 1962, a book would change our understanding of the environment forever. This groundbreaking work was Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, a profound critique of humanity's reckless assault on the natural world. Carson, a marine biologist by training, meticulously documented the devastating effects of pesticides, pollution, and other human activities on wildlife and ecosystems. In simple, compelling language, she alerted the world to the silent spring, a future where birds no longer sing due to the indiscriminate use of pesticides. Her work confronted the public with the stark reality of environmental degradation and the threats to biodiversity. Carson's book was a wake-up call that resonated around the world, sparking widespread concern about the environment. This led to the birth of the modern environmental movement, a global campaign advocating for the protection and preservation of our precious planet. Carson's work marked a turning point in environmental awareness and activism. Her legacy continues to inspire action towards a sustainable future. Legislation can play a vital role in protecting our environment. In the United States, landmark pieces of legislation such as the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act have been instrumental in this regard. Passed in the early 70s, these acts laid down comprehensive strategies to limit the release of harmful pollutants into our atmosphere and water bodies. The Clean Air Act, for example, set national air quality standards and regulated the emission of hazardous air pollutants. It has significantly improved the quality of the air we breathe today. Similarly, the Clean Water Act aimed to restore and maintain the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of the nation's waters by preventing point and non-point pollution sources. Enforcement of these acts has been a complex task, involving multiple levels of government and the private sector. Despite challenges, they have been largely successful, leading to significant improvements in air and water quality. These acts set important legal precedents for environmental protection. Individual action can make a difference, especially when it's part of a global movement. And Earth Day is a testament to that sentiment. As an annual event held every April 22nd, Earth Day is a clarion call for global environmental awareness and action. Its roots can be traced back to the tumultuous year of 1970, amidst the swell of anti-war protests and the burgeoning environmental movement. The brainchild of U.S. Senator Gaylord Nelson, and inspired by the student anti-war movement, Earth Day was conceived as a national teach-in on the environment. Fast forward to today, and Earth Day transcends borders, engaging individuals, communities, and governments in over 190 countries. Each year, Earth Day takes on different themes, from ending plastic pollution to protecting our species, pushing for actionable change. Through its widespread impact and unyielding advocacy, Earth Day has played a pivotal role in mobilizing global environmental actions. Earth Day serves as a powerful reminder of our collective responsibility to protect our planet. Today, perhaps the most pressing environmental issue we face is climate change. The scientific consensus is overwhelming. Our planet is warming at an alarming rate. Average global temperatures are rising, leading to extreme weather patterns that disrupt ecosystems and human societies alike. Heat waves become more intense, droughts longer, storms more destructive. And then there's the meltdown at the poles. Our polar ice caps are shrinking, causing sea levels to rise. Coastal cities are at risk, and entire island nations could disappear beneath the waves. The implications stretch beyond the loss of land. The rise in sea levels alters ocean currents, affecting marine life and, in turn, the fishing industry and food supply. From ecosystems and economies to human societies, the reach of climate change is vast and interconnected. The butterfly effect is real, and it's happening on a global scale. The evidence is clear. Our actions are changing the climate, and the consequences could be dire. Some scientists argue that we are now living in a new geological epoch, the Anthropocene. This term, coined from the Greek words for human and new, represents a time period in which human activities have become the dominant influence on our planet's geology, climate, and ecosystems. From the deepest oceans to the highest peaks, there's scarcely a place untouched by our presence. The Anthropocene is characterized by changes that are rapid and global in scale. We've altered the composition of our atmosphere, triggered mass extinctions, and even reshaped the Earth's surface through urbanization and agriculture. However, the Anthropocene is not yet officially recognized as a geological epoch. There's ongoing debate among scientists about when it should start. Some propose the dawn of agriculture, others the Industrial Revolution, and still others the mid-20th century, marked by nuclear tests and the great acceleration of population growth and industrialization. Whether or not we officially enter the Anthropocene, it's clear that our actions are reshaping the planet. Given the impact we've had on the environment, what can we do to mitigate the damage and ensure a sustainable future? As we journey into the future, we have the power to choose sustainability and conservation. Renewable energy, for instance, harnesses the power of nature, from the sun, wind, and water, reducing our reliance on fossil fuels and lowering greenhouse gas emissions. Ecosystem restoration is another key strategy, focusing on reviving damaged ecosystems and restoring biodiversity. This involves everything from reforestation efforts to the reintroduction of native species. Speaking of biodiversity, its conservation is crucial. Every species plays a role in the balance of nature, and losing even one can have cascading effects. Lastly, the promotion of green technologies and practices in our daily lives and industries can greatly mitigate our impact on the planet. This includes everything from recycling to using energy-efficient appliances. While our past actions have reshaped the planet, our future actions can help to protect it.